And welcome to Toyota GAZOO Racing Hour. I'm Sean Summerfield. This week we catch up with a couple of TRS racers making their mark in motorsport. We check out the latest Toyota rally car to join the New Zealand Rally Championship. But first, this weekend the Speedworks Series hits the Hampton Downs track. Now, unfortunately, not with the TRS cars due to COVID disruption. Yes, but that hasn't stopped the Toyota GAZOO racing team from testing as they look forward to 2023.
Hello, I'm Nicholas Cayol. We're here at the Mike Pero Motorsport Park as part of our development testing for the Castrol Toyota Racing Series. Last time we were here racing was with the previous generation, the FT50. So we're basically here to gather some data. We've been through all the circuits in New Zealand and we're missing that circuit so far. So we're back here trying to get the testing, having a baseline setup that we can provide to the drivers for testing purposes or when we come back racing here. Even despite we're going on into the third season, we're still learning on the car, and part of it is part of the mileage. So we try to mileage up the engines and the gearbox and see how the evolution goes and be sure that we're safe and reliable, because reliability is really important for us for the 5 weeks in a row. And we're still kind of learning and tuning just to always improve, because we want to deliver the best product for the racing drivers when they come for the seasons. For every opportunity just to develop and tune and to make it better. So when we do development testing, it's really important for us to rely on the feedback, technical feedback. Our test driver is Chris van der Drift, which has a huge amount of experience. He's been racing for more than 15 years and in different kind of cars. So he has that technical knowledge and technical feedback. I've known personally Chris since 2009 and 10 when I was his race engineer in a Super Formula time. So we have a good relationship and we can rely on his good feedback. We know he's a fast driver, so we can push the car to its limits, and his understanding of the technical aspect and his quality of his feedback is really important for us to keep developing the cars and having a nice development towards the improvement for the car to get the best car to the customers.
So being a test driver, you've got a couple of things you've got to be good at. Being able to do the same lap time over and over. Obviously getting up to speed quickly, so go out the box, warm everything up and then get there pretty soon and be able to just chip away doing the same things, because if they change something, they want to see what they change reflects the lap time and not the driver going up and down like a yo-yo. And I think probably the next biggest thing is not crashing, not damaging the car you're trying to develop at the same time. Yes, so generally during the test day we'll debrief throughout the whole day with in sessions and out of sessions. Sometimes when I come off the track and into pit lane, I'll still be in the car and we'll have a chat how the car's going, whether we make some changes then, whether it's roll bars, wing angles on the car as well, nice easy stuff, and or the guys plug in with the computer and change some electronic stuff and shifting, power maps and things like that. So something that's good to go straight back out when the car's all hot. You go back out, do a run, you've got your time from the session before, you go out, do a time and see if it's better or worse. And then yeah, when you get out of the car as well, you debrief as well on different things. I've got a marker button on the steering wheel, so if anything's odd on the track with the car, after a change I can mark that. They can go back and have a look later on and see if it's some issue mechanically or electronically, so they can look through that and do that, so you can get quite extensive over the whole day.
So it's important here to test in the similar conditions that we'll be testing in 2023 if we were coming back here. Last time we were here was in May, so it was kind of turning into the autumn to winter, so the track conditions were not exactly the same than when we find into the season. So it's important here in January, so we know hot conditions, summer conditions, so we have a better knowledge and understanding how the car will behave on those hot conditions when you go racing. So that's why we came back here to do another testing in the similar condition than the season will be.
So 2023 is looking good for the resumption of the Castrol Toyota Racing Series and yes, the New Zealand Grand Prix. So we thought it'd be a good time now to review the 2021 event. Who could forget that awesome race and that fantastic drive by Shane van Gisbergen.
Away they go! Chris van der Drift gets a good start. Caleb Nato defends his position nicely. Well done to Caleb Nato. Here they go. But Nato, no! It looks as though Gort's got him, and he has. Daniel Gort takes the lead. Nato, though, was settling. No, a touch! And wide and onto the grass. That was a moment, big moment there for the 22. But van der Drift comes alongside him again now. They hit there. They touched there. Absalon is damaged. Van der Drift's got damage. They touched. And there's damage to Chris van der Drift's wing. After that, coming together on the exit of turn 2, as they went into cabs, you can see the wing dropping to the bottom or left there. And that is disaster. He's going to have to... Oh, no! It's going under the car. He's going to have to pull out of this or pull in very quickly. Oh, more drama. And it is. I think it's gone. Good chance for now for Andre Heimgartner as we go green. It's the 66 Grand Prix here at Hampton Downs for the first time. Here comes Damon Leach. Oh, hold on to it, son. Leach tries to defend, but here comes Shane Van Gisbergen around the outside of the sweeper. He's got good drive. He'll keep his foot in, and he does. Now he's got the drive on Brendan. Brendan will try to defend. He can't do anything more than that. And they're almost side by side as they come across the line. And Shane Van Gisbergen's got the better line. And he does go through. Brilliantly done by Shane Van Gisbergen. Pure class. Oh, classic racing here. Just what we wanted. Two of the best. And they're still side by side as they go through Swampy Curve. Giz, meanwhile, look at this. Yes, he's done it. He's got past Natar. So Heimgartner, second place. Can you believe this? Andre Heimgartner, who no one would have said would be a favourite for this, although he's an accomplished driver. In this field, though, and Andre is driving out of his skin right now in second place. He wants it just as bad as anyone. This race of champions, this stars in cars, just what we wanted. Gisbergen up to fourth. Shane Van Gisbergen is now fourth place. The first one very close with Chris van der Drift. The second equally as close, and another lunge by Shane Van Gisbergen, and he makes it look easy as he moves up to third place. Is destiny on his side, I wonder today, because he had sided his way into contention. He's now third. Here comes Shane Van Gisbergen up the inside into second place now. And surely Shane Van Gisbergen is going to make a run for the lead. Van Gisbergen said in the press conferences, Van Gisbergen takes the lead of the Grand Prix. Fantastic stuff. And the crowd roars here at Hampton Downs as their hero Shane Van Gisbergen takes the lead, and Gordon is trying everything to stay with him. And the 97 will finally take his turn of winning the Grand Prix of New Zealand. Shane Van Gisbergen is the champion of champions.
Some numpty went to start the car and push the fire extinguisher button, so she was a bit of a panic. That was my fault, but yeah, I thought it was all over, but man, the car was awesome, perfect safety car, and then, yeah, I don't know how the front wing's still on the thing. I had to rough up a few guys, but that was unreal.
Yes, what a drive that was. And also a podium for young racer Matthew Payne, who went on to win the championship. Our man in the US, Jonathan Green, caught up with Matthew this week.
Well, thanks, Sean. Yes, no Grand Prix this year, but I have got some good news because I've got last year's TRS champion with us, the 2021 champion, Matthew Payne. And while everybody has been, well, hunkered down and probably not enjoying the last few years, your career has gone through the roof. Matthew, welcome, and what a couple of years it's been.
To be honest with you, John, I think a lot of people have struggled through the times. You know, it's quite hard to sort of make any plans, I guess. So I think for us, it's been really good. You know, especially being stuck in New Zealand, we kind of took advantage of doing the TRS series, which played out to be, well, which ended up going very well for me. And then, yeah, I just moved over here, and I think we're sort of, I think hopefully this side of the world is moving on from COVID a little bit. So I think, yeah, hopefully the schedule is going to be a little bit more uninterrupted this year. We're just doing the Super 2 this year, just in unison as we did for the last 2 rounds at the end of last year. And then, yeah, I think the co-driving for the endurance rounds is also on the table as well. So whether that's more than one race, which will be really good. So I'm pretty excited to get out there and you know, watching my first Bathurst last year in real life was really good. I'd never been to the track or anything like that, so it was pretty cool, and certainly a pleasure to be involved in that race for sure, yeah.
And am I right in saying that you'll pick up the super license points or enough to get you a super license by doing the Super 2s?
Yeah. So pretty much that's sort of the whole aim of this series, and this year as well. We decided to just stick with it and do it the right way. And yeah, I'm looking forward to a good season in Super 2. It's going to be some good hard racing. There's a few more younger drivers coming into it as well this year, so I think it's going to be pretty competitive, which makes for great racing as well. So I'm really looking forward to that.
Well, listen, the Toyota GAZOO family are keen to watch you and follow you. So tell us where we can follow you, the number, and any of your social that we can catch up on, so we can see you in the Super, in the Super 2s.
That is Matthew Payne _7, I think it is, and then just Matthew Payne on Facebook. That updates after all of the results and that, so it's easy to find me.
Well, listen, Matthew, it's perfect to talk to you at this stage because nothing's happened yet and it's a bright new future ahead of you. We wish you well. Please do keep us informed as to how you're getting on, and especially if you do get into the endurance and get to go to Bathurst.
Yeah, thank you, Jonathan. Will do.
Coming up, Marcus Armstrong takes us for a spin around Hampton Downs. Welcome back. Now, the Toyota 86 Championship has one of the biggest prize pools ever seen in the New Zealand series, $75,000 shared amongst the top 5. And for one winner, there's an invaluable part of the prize, a day spent testing with the 888 Supercar team, all thanks to the Tony Quinn Foundation. And what a season so far. This weekend we returned to Hampton Downs, but Marcus Armstrong, yes, you know the man, was at the track earlier this week preparing to leave for another season of FIA Formula 2. So while he was there, we gave him a GR Supra and told him to take it for a spin with TGRNZ boss Nico Kyle along for the ride.
All right, so here we are for a lap at Hampton Downs. 6th gear, braking into turn 1, really important. It's pretty blind, but you need to get the apex, be fully in, like that, more or less. Good exit, use all the road available. a straight line, the T5 I think it is. Bit of apex curve, bit of sideways action, nothing wrong with that. Up the hill, this is a really difficult corner, exit super important, used to bust my balls about this all the time. And full throttle, braking more or less at the 50, use all the track on entry. Bit of ABS, why not? Exit again, super important. And if you don't have a little bit of oversteer on exit, you're going too slow usually. Try and take the shortest possible line to the start-finish line. And that should be pole position. That's good.
Now, there are limited spectator numbers this weekend thanks to the red light, but we have you covered nonetheless with a live stream on Saturday afternoon and all day Sunday. Just check out the Speedworks Events Facebook page. You can get it also on motorsport.tv. Now, there's a full program of action featuring Mazdas, Formula First, V8 Utes, Toyota 86s and Rodin Cars Super GTs. And we'll also have the highlights of the racing next weekend on CRC Motorsport. Coming up, we take a look at 2 new Toyota rally cars for the New Zealand Rally Championship, and later Billy Fraser calls in from America, getting ready for his F2000 season. Yes, the WRC is returning to New Zealand in late September, and one man who is really looking forward to that is Hayden McKenzie, after debuting on the gravel in 2021 in the Mitsubishi Evo 10. Now, the Albany Toyota car dealer finally has his hands on not one, but 2 brand new Toyota Yaris rally cars.
Hi, I'm Hayden McKenzie from Albany Toyota. Albany Toyota has been in my family for over 30 years, but when I'm not selling cars, this is my passion. Let's come and have a look. Brownie, what are you doing in there?
Oh, turn it up, boss. Why should you have all the fun? I mean, I work for old Speedworks commentator during the weekend, sell cars for Albany Toyota for us here during the week. So we work with the team from Toyota GAZOO Racing, but I tell you what, I fit in here better than you do, mate.
Shut up, get out.
But you know how to drive it, so you're going to tell us all about Hayden McKenzie Motorsport and your passion from going from, you know, the racetrack to the rally car to get it sideways, mate. What's it like to do this angry mode, this thing? So yes, I'm the fleet sales manager here at Albany Toyota, and this is the boss, CEO, Hayden McKenzie, but also a passionate petrol head, Hayden McKenzie Motorsport. So as a car dealer, Hayden knows what cars sell, like your Super, like your cool looking 86, but also how to make them go fast. Now, you've done motocross, you've done the V8s, circuit racing, national target champion. What was the love to actually get behind one of these GR Yaris rally cars and do, you know, sideways on the gravel?
It was one of those things I'd always wanted to have go on the dirt. I'd never had an opportunity to go on gravel. So it was just inevitable that I'd had a, you know, we'd been successful in Targa, we'd completed 3 of them with a podium finish, first podium finish. So it was inevitable I wanted to have a go at something else. And hey, here came the gravel experience. So we've had 1 season under our belt now and into this one with the new Toyota.
So what was it like? You know, circuit racing and the V8s is all about momentum. Open road Targa racing is all about what, scanning and being aware. And then suddenly it's always sideways on the gravel. I mean, how did you make the change?
Probably when I first started in the gravel car, I drove it very much like not a circuit car, but like a Targa. I kept the car very straight, tried to be really clean and maintain speed that way. As I've got more and more confident in the car, I'm finding you're having to push the car further past its limits, and which inevitably makes the car quite sideways. But which is good fun.
And you like?
And really enjoying it, loving it.
What about your team with Michael Gowdy? I mean, like, excellent co-driver. What's that relationship like in developing? The key word in rallying is trust, and you know all about that.
Well, Mike's had to have some trust because he first got in a car with me in Targa Southland after I'd crashed the car and my co-driver was injured and I needed a co-driver the second day. So he got in the car. I think he might have told his parents that he was that my co-driver was sick or something. Right. But yeah, no, look, we've sort of been doing now the rally for a full season. He's been really good and helped me because I was still pretty green to it. You don't have notes on circuit, you know, you drive the same circuit, do lap after lap, you get to know the track, where obviously with a rally or a Targa, every corner's different. And you only get a chance to do it in recce or get pace notes, and then once you've done it, basically sometimes unless you repeat a stage, that's it, isn't it? Yeah, that's recce's actually been really hard because you drive through at road car pace on the left-hand side of the road, and you're then trying to write notes enough that you can remember that crest, that corner, where the car should be, how fast you should be going into a corner, and trying to do that all off one run through before the rally event, as I said, in a road car. So it's definitely been challenging and learning more and more what the right calls are. Michael's been really good at sort of, you know, telling me flat. That comes up quite a bit more often. What's this thing going to be like in angry mode, sideways on gravel? Yeah, the Halo road car is awesome, so it's going to be neat to see what this goes like. The one directly behind me, that's actually going to have the first 3-cylinder GR motor out of the road car in it. So the real McCoy? It's going to be the proper car, so that there's happening basically straight after this. It gets an engine transplant. It's because it's currently running a 4AGE turbo, but we're wanting to go with more modern technology, a newer engine, and hey look, it's been developed for rallying, so by rights it should be a great motor. Running the AP4, it's such a different car compared to what I've been driving. So big suspension travel, car droops on under brakes, and actually, you know, it's got the travel and that to suck up the bumps, where the traditional production cars, which I've been driving, certainly haven't had that. So there's a lot to learn in the car, just how it drives, before we even get the minute setup done. Look, I think our goal is that we'd like to get into that top 5. You know, it's even if it's not every single rally, that's the goal that we'd like to start nudging on the top 5. Obviously, we're developing a new car, which is challenging, but if we can go to a rally where the car's working, we're working, the goal is to nudge into that top 5. A passionate petrolhead, Hayden McKenzie Motorsport, from selling cars to racing cars, so watch out for him in the New Zealand Rally Championship this year.
Hey, thanks, Brownie. No doubt interviewing the boss is a bit of a perk at Albany Toyota. Well, across the ditch, there's a very long-established Toyota rally team. Neil Bates was a fierce competitor of Possum Bourne back in the Aussie Rally Championship, but these days it's his son who are dusting things up in the ARC, which has given the family time to put together an historic collection of Toyota rally cars.
Welcome to the Neil Bates Motorsport Workshop. We're actually in the museum section at the moment, which is up the front of our workshop, where we've got some of our, I guess, most special cars. We'll start with this one here. This is the Toyota Celica ST185 GT4. Neil and Coral won the 1993 and 1994 Australian Rally Championships in this car, so a bit of history here. And it was sold initially in the late 90s, and then Dad managed to buy it back a few years ago to restore to its former glory and have here in the workshop. He became a bit sentimental in his old age, so that's pretty cool. The one next to it here is the Toyota Celica ST205. Dad and Coral won the 1995 Australian Rally Championship in this car, as well as the 1995 Targa Tasmania. So this one's probably our favourite. It's been restored back to almost original, but it's in tarmac trim, and it only ever does tarmac rallying nowadays. But yeah, I don't know, I just love the look and the shape of this car. It's, to me, the most special one. I've been fortunate enough to do a tarmac rally sprint in it, and yeah, it's a pleasure to drive even now, nearly 30 years later. If we move around the corner over here, we've got the Toyota Corolla S2000. This was built in 2007 to this FIA Super 2000 regulations, which was at the time the direction that the Australian Rally Championship was heading in, and it's a really cool car. It's got a 2-litre naturally aspirated Beams engine, revs to 8,500 RPM. It's just a very, very exciting car. And Dad and Coral won their last Australian Rally Championship in this car, the 2008 Australian Rally Championship. And then I competed in this car in 2016 and 2017. And then Lewis competed in it in 2018. So it's been through all three of us now, Dad, Lewis and I. And we all had some good success in it. I was fortunate enough to win my first ever round of the ARC in this car in the Eureka Rally in 2017. So yeah, very, very cool car. I loved competing in it, and I feel like it taught me so much about rallying and so much about how to drive a car hard that I've been able to carry it into my career to date. The last one is Dad's Toyota Celica RA40. He built this when he retired from rallying full-time. Wanted to build a classic car so that he could still keep rallying, and really their goal when they built it was to have something that was as good as an Escort, and their big claim to fame with the Celica RA40 is going to the Otago Rally in 2013 and 2014, I think it was, where they actually won the Otago Rally both times. So that's Dad and Corals and the whole team at Nilbase Motorsports. His big claim to fame with this car. It's a very, very exciting car. It's actually the first ever ARC I did was in this car where I co-drove for Dad. And yeah, it's just a hugely exciting thing to drive, and awesome little car. It doesn't feel like a 40-year-old car when you're in it, that's for sure. So yeah, a lot of history in this part of the workshop, and we've built a lot of cool cars here over the years and competed with a lot of cool cars. And it's always nice to have them all in one place like this. But of course, we would love to have them all here. There's been a Corolla WRC run over the years that many people are still fond of, and also my championship winning Yaris AP4, which is now in the hands of Richie Dalton. We'd love to have in this museum one day as well.
Coming up, what is this brand Toyota GAZOO all about? And Billy Fraser joins us for a chat. Welcome back to Toyota GAZOO Racing Now. Now, the name Toyota GAZOO Racing is established all over the world now, but where does it sit in the world of Toyota? Well, we sat down with Andrew Davis, the General Manager of Marketing for Toyota New Zealand, to find out more.
Toyota GAZOO Racing has basically established itself since 2016, and from a global perspective, it's just Toyota commonising a lot of the motorsport activity that we do to try and also make ever better cars. So the really positive thing for us is our president, Akio Toyota, who's part of the family, is such a car guy, such a motorsport guy. So Akio, from his perspective, wants to use motorsport as a platform for engineers to build better cars in terms of reliability, performance, technology, using things like our hybrid technology that's developed in motorsport to put into general cars. So there's kind of two parts to GR. There's a motorsport arm to GAZOO Racing, and then there's a product arm, as you say, to our GR cars as well, which we're fortunate now to be getting quite a lot of. So that really relates strongly to what we do here in New Zealand in both of those sides. We have Toyota Racing Series, we have the 86 Championship as our motorsport arm, and now we're just adding a whole lot of product in there as well. So it's a great time for us to kind of leverage the investment we've had for quite a long time in New Zealand to now launch a new brand under the GR umbrella. We kind of call it a GR pyramid. So right at the top from a motorsport view, you've got World Endurance Championship and WRC Rally, which we've been very successful in. Obviously Dakar, announced a couple of days ago, or overnight we won Dakar, obviously with Hilux again. So that's enabling that development of technology to really come through from a global view. And it's quite surprising from Akio's perspective. He is so passionate that the GR brand isn't necessarily just about Toyota. It's about people that really enjoy cars, really enjoy kind of motoring and performance, and just working on their vehicles and sharing their passion with their friends. So, he kind of reaches out to the different distributors and says, hey, what are you guys doing in your markets? And how can you connect with your stores and your customers? So, for Kiwis, massive motorsport history, a lot of performance cars here in New Zealand, it kind of fits. So it's really good to make that connection.
The Castrol Toyota Racing Series may be on COVID hold, but its graduates around the world are making their mark. One of those is Billy Fraser, who is starting his second season of Formula 2000. It's part of his road to Indy cars. Our man in the USA, Jonathan Green, will be following his progress from his base in Austin, Texas.
Well, thanks, Sean. Yes, as you well know, there are New Zealanders racing all over the world, but America has been a happy hunting ground for all of them. And I'm glad to say I'm joined by the one and only Billy Fraser, who needs no introduction in New Zealand, but he's now making a name for himself in the USA, about to do his second season in USF 2000. Billy, welcome. And first and foremost, how's it going so far?
Hey, Jonathan. Thanks for having me. I'm going really well. I've just finished my second week in the United States after spending the summer in New Zealand. And yeah, it's good to be back.
I can see that you've already settled into the American way of life, because is that not an RV I see you in?
Yeah, this isn't any motel room in the 29 feet of luxury, which is the RV. So, you know, this year I'll be traveling from racetrack to racetrack on wheels, and really excited about it, and feeling at home already.
Well, talking of at home, back at home, obviously we saw your exploits in the TRS Championship, a great run there, and a great way to launch your international career from TRS. How important was that, do you think, to get you to the States and to get your sort of feet under the table and into the car, as it were?
Yeah, well, I think the biggest thing that TRS gave me was that race experience, and that's not a lot of things you can do with the testing. And just looking back at 2020 and 2021 now, particularly with all these COVID protocols, I think just not being able to get to the States until the start of the championship, the Toyota Racing Series gave me a really good opportunity to really hone the skills of racing, because at the end of the day, I wasn't able to do the testing in USF 2000 in my rookie year that I would have liked to. But thanks to TRS, I got an opportunity to really start the championship with that race experience, and that almost compensated for missing out on that testing.
Now, this is your second year in USF 2000, but you're coming back to the same team, which is hugely important, because effectively, just listening to some of the reports I've read, you know, you were learning the tracks, learning the car, and so a big curve last year. Tell us about your first season in the US.
Yeah, 2021. It was an awesome year to move to the other side of the world. You know, that alone was a massive experience. But then you throw on race car driving, it doubles. So, you know, 2021, it was a great season. I really did feel that I developed throughout the year, even though the results were a little bit inconsistent. But that's something I want to improve this year. But to race at these iconic tracks and now have a really good understanding of them, I'm really looking forward to 2022. And, you know, I was 2 fourth places last year. I want to be consistently in that top 3 this year and chasing that Road to Indy Championship.
You know, I got to ask a question. If we look at the New Zealanders that have gone over there, and obviously at the top of that pyramid has to be Scott Dixon, but you've all had a similar upbringing to get you to the States. How different was the racing culture of the United States versus what you'd seen before?
Yeah, really good question. It has been awesome, you know, to looking back on my racing throughout New Zealand and that career development, you know, grassroots New Zealander now taking on the world stage. But yeah, racing over here, I think we're doing it really well down in New Zealand. I would say I think I worked it out. I had a net total of almost 70 passes gained throughout the race season. So really confident with my passing, and you know, there's a few differences. For example, rolling starts over here compared to the standing starts in the likes of TRS and Formula Ford. But I think New Zealand, they've got a really good formula at the moment, and we just need to keep doing what we're doing.
Your team manager, David Duncalf, says, right, you know the tracks, you know the car, you know the team, you're coming back for a second year. And that, in my world, translates to, we need some results from you, son. How do you feel about that in terms of what your expectations are for this season?
And I think that's exactly what experience brings. You know, I have had this 2021, which is a rookie year, and you do get, you know, you got a bit of wiggle room. You know, you've got a few excuses up your sleeve. But yeah, like you said, this year it's result driven in order to keep my career alive, to be honest. You know, I've got some support of some fantastic people like Giltrap Group, but you know, now it's got I got to get these results to climb the road to Indy.
Talk about a baptism of fire. I know it's your second season, but the idea of St. Petersburg, Florida, a street circuit, the whole of Indy there, including Mr. Dixon. No pressure. How are you looking forward to the first race?
Oh, I think it's awesome, really. You know, this year I'm not a rookie, and I can go into there with complete confidence. Last year, I know during the race, I was sitting in the podium position for 6 or 7 laps, and you know, I lost that podium with the 1 lap before we went into safety car, and we finished under safety car. So I'm confident in my pace at St. Petersburg. I know that the team's got an awesome setup there. I have some testing at Sebring in 2 days' time, just to simulate the bumpiness of St. Petersburg. So I guess it's one of those tracks you just have to embrace it and just say, like, this is going to be one of the most challenging races I've ever done, and I'm going to really enjoy it because I'm a race car driver.
That's a great way of putting it. And just remind our Toyota race fans what your ambition is and where you hope to be, and also how they can follow you.
Yeah, so the goal is to be an IndyCar driver. That's been my dream ever since I started. So, if you want to join my journey, reach out on Billy Fraser Racing on Facebook and Billy Fraser on Instagram. It'd be great to have you on the journey with me.
Well, listen, all the Toyota GAZOO family are right behind you. We've got your name, we got your number, we know where you're racing. I'm really looking forward to your second season, and yeah, let's see if you can turn it on. But best of luck at St. Pete, and best of luck in the lead up to it.
Awesome, thanks, Jonathan. It's been great catching up, and I'll keep in touch.
Coming up, we meet a young woman making her return to the track after a serious accident that nearly stopped her career. Welcome back to Toyota GAZOO Racing Hour on the eve of what should have been the New Zealand Grand Prix at Hampton Downs. But despite that being stopped by COVID, racing will still go ahead this weekend with the Toyota 86 Championship at the top of the billing. One driver excited to return to the track is Chelsea Herbert, a young woman on her road to recovery after breaking her back in 2020.
Hi, I'm Chelsea Herbert. I'm 23 years old and I'm from Auckland. Prior to TRS, I was ready to go with the V8s, and then I got the opportunity to test in Spain for the W Series, so that was really exciting. And I hopped in the cars, single-seater, for the first time ever, because I've always been tin-top, and I was in love with it. I just thought it was so cool. So when I got back to New Zealand, I really pushed to get into the TRS car. I wanted more time and more experience in the single-seater, and quite often, some of the best V8 supercar drivers, for example, have come through a single-seater or had at least some single-seater experience. So for me, I thought that was really important to get under my belt because I hadn't had any single-seater experience. So then, signed up for the Toyota Racing Series, was really fortunate to be able to get in the car. I know it was a really full field and there was even a waiting list, so to be able to get in time was absolutely awesome. Then, got to qualifying and just had a bit of a whoopsie on some green tyres, and found myself sitting in the wall with a broken back. So, look, that wasn't my peak of my career, that's for sure. But I'm back now. I'm ready to go. My back feels my back is fully recovered. It doesn't feel like it used to, but it's not going to stop me from racing, and there's no pain or anything. It's just slightly, aged my back a little bit, knocking on 50 for my back. But I'm really excited to be back in a car. I had last season off due to a number of things, but mainly COVID and just getting that financial backing through that period. Just super excited and really pumped to be with the Heart of Racing and to have their backing, and to be in the International Motorsport team is something I've wanted to do for a long time. Honestly, I kind of stumbled across it. I wasn't sure what class I wanted to do. I was feeling a little bit lost after doing the V8s and the TRS and then having a season off, and I knew I did want to get back into tin tops. And then seeing how competitive Toyota 86 was last season, I really felt like that was the best direction to go. And so I called Jeff and he was like, oh, you better be quick, there's only a couple of cars left, sort of thing. So I started to stress a little bit, and then I caught wind of Heart of Racing and I called Nick up, and literally within a couple of hours I was at International Motorsport having a meeting, and then I was invited out to the track for a test day. Honestly, just having so much fun. There's such a cool car to drive. It almost takes me back to my go-karting days where it's all momentum based, you can't make a little mistake and power out of it. You've just lost like 30 grid positions. So I think it's going to be an awesome season. I've taken a really wacky sort of road to where I'm at. As you say, I've been from go-karts and then I went straight into Sangyong utes, which was the weirdest sensation. In the go-karts, your bum's almost touching the ground, you can feel your side pods, you hop into a ute and it's literally like 3-4 times, what you could even reach. I think that class was really good for car control, or learning car control at least, and we got to travel the whole of New Zealand all the way down to Timaru, so you know, even to learn tracks was really, really valuable. But yeah, so I think everyone has a different path that they take, and you know, if you're talented, we all end up in the same spot, you know, but yeah, I think the way I've gone about things, I don't know if I'd change anything. The biggest thing about doing 86 in New Zealand is the amount of cars and how close the competition is, and I think for me that's really important. I want to know, you know, when there's 20 competitive people on a grid, where actually do you finish, because that's probably where you are in terms of your development as a driver, and how far or how much more do you have to work to get to that pinnacle, right? So that's me for this season, is just finding out where I am and really pushing myself to be further up than where I am. And I think even, you know, even Rowan, who won last season, he'll still be pushing to go further than what he went last season. So for all of us that are coming in, we've got to be at his level and be chasing all those top guys down, because they're just going to continually improve. And I think for drivers coming into the series, that's a really awesome thing, to have such a high bar set, and we've got to try and at least get to that, if not push it with them. Standing in driver's briefing, I'm 23 and I felt like I was one of the old ones, which is such a weird feeling because you're usually one of the youngest. So the team were all joking before that I'm part of the old ladies club now, so hopefully I don't drive like an old lady. Dancing for me is like the one female part of my life. It's when I go into the door and I'm like, oh, there's only one guy here, but there's like 15 females. I think dancing really helps with my coordination. It helps with flexibility of getting in and out of the car. It helps a lot, and to be honest, if the males down there started dancing, I'd say they'd probably get a lot quicker because they'd be all flexy and loosey-goosey. So yeah, no, I think it is the female side of my life, and I do quite enjoy my time at the dance studio. But yeah, it's nice to sort of come back from a race weekend and do something like that, but then it's nice to jump back in the car and mongrel the little 86 around the track too.
That's our show for this week. We take a break for a couple of weeks, but remember, all the highlights of the racing will be on CRC Motorsport. I love that show. For now, though, it's goodbye from me.